Good morning, everyone. I'm Bill. Welcome to Celebrating Farm Life. It has been a very hectic week here on the farm. I know in the previous video we was going to get to the tractor and changing the oil in it after we got through with the zero turn sitting back there, but it has been one thing right behind another. The other day in the video I showed y'all me changing the oil in the zero turn over there and the hydrostatic drives and everything like that, and getting that taken care of, and I was supposed to bring y'all back along with me the next day, and we was going to get on this tractor, Kubota tractor, and change the oil in it. I still got the oil filters and stuff for it sitting here, and we woke up, no water. We called the well man. It was going to be a while before he could get here, a little bit later in the afternoon, and he finally showed up, and we discovered that the pressure tank was bad. So we replaced the pressure tank, and I replaced the pressure switch on it just to be on the safe side, and we thought everything was fixed. Well, fast forward to the next morning, we woke up, didn't have no water again. So we ended up having to replace the well pump. Our well is 138 feet. I believe that's what it ended up being, 138 feet deep. And he came back out, him and his grandson, pulled the pipe up and replaced the pump and got all that back going. So we have been playing catch up. We have been watering our animals out of the ponds and stuff like that, toting water to them. We have a pump in the pond that we use for irrigation that we've had for a long time, and having to water the pigs and stuff like that with that, run water hoses all over the yard and everything. And this had nothing to do with a couple of videos back when the water hose got caught and snatched the plumbing off the water heater. This had nothing to do with that. Just the well pump was old, 20-something years old. It just gave up the ghost. It was its time. You don't realize how much you miss something until it's gone. Let me tell you, water's one of those things. So make sure y'all got some water put back, because we was having to tote water in jugs to be able to like flush toilets and stuff like that too. So, and we already have water bottled up for being able to cook and stuff like that. So we really big shout out to Mr. Paul and his grandson for showing up both times and getting our well going just as quick as they possibly could. And y'all, I could have pulled the well pump myself. I've done it with my dad and my granddad in the years past, and I just don't have any help to be able to do that by myself now. It takes at least two people and to be able to pull that much pipe out of the ground, plus it's full of water. Putting it back down is not that bad. It's not that heavy. You really only got the PVC pipe and the pump, so you're probably looking at maybe 60, 70, 80 pounds, something like that. Now when that pipe's full of water and that chip valve's got that water up in that pipe, that same pipe turns into probably about 200 and something, 300 pounds. And it's very difficult to pull it out by yourself or do anything like that by yourself, because if you happen to let it slip, it's going to shoot on down in your well, break the cap off, and then you're going to be having to get a whole brand new well drilled. So you don't want that to happen. So I just called Mr. Paul, let him come out, go ahead and take care of that for us. He gave us a good deal. He's a very good man, very reliable. His grandson was absolutely a blessing to work with and watch him work and following in his grandfather's footsteps and learning all the trade skills of the trade, things like that. So we finally getting to the tractor, and we're gonna go ahead and change the oil in the tractor, get it serviced up, and try to get caught up in this stuff. Alrighty, let's get the drain pan. See all what we gotta do. Alright, on a Kubota tractor with 4-wheel drive. This is the 4-wheel drive shaft that goes to the front end. they have split the oil pan so you actually have two drain plugs, one here and one here, because the dry shaft goes in between the oil pan. I guess they couldn't find any other way to design it, or that was just the cheapest way to design it. So it goes up here to the differential for the gears in the front right here, and this is the axle right here. So like I say, they split it so it's two oil drain plugs. Same purpose, you just have to drain both sides because it's two different compartments. Let's go ahead and get them knocked out. Got the oil pan right here. Got me a rag right there. All right, that's one side. Oh, what'd you let me do that for? Got oil all over me. All right, let me let this old trickle out here. I don't want to just sit here and bore y'all with oil dripping out. So I like to try to get as much as I can out as possible. So I'll cut y'all off and bring you back along in just a second. All right, that looks like that's good enough. Let's go ahead and get these plugs back in there. I'm glad I had y'all along with me. It'd be pretty boring up under here by myself without y'all being here with me. Had somebody to talk to while I was waiting on the oil drain out. All right, let's go get that filter off. So it's going to be the same old thing as it was on the zero turn. All right. Already got my oil pan down here. All right, let me grab a new filter. Take a little bit of oil. Make sure you put it on that gasket really good. You want it to seat and seal good. All right, let me grab something to tighten that with. All right, had to get oil filter wrench out the shed. I could not get my hand around that filter. That ain't working very good neither. This little plastic shield right here is making it, and the fuel filter right there is making it extremely difficult. You don't want it, but good and hand tight. All right, that is good. So now the next thing we're going to do is write the hours down and the date that I changed the oil. So it has 511 hours. And the day is the 27th, I believe. All right. So if y'all look at them hours, this tractor's about 10 years old. That's some really low hours. This tractor hadn't even broke in yet, being a diesel. All right, let's get the oil in this bad boy. All right, I forgot I had to take that shield off anyway to be able to change the oil, be able to put the oil back in the thing. So let's go ahead and take that little thing off now. Alrighty. That allows really good access to it, because you needed that right there to be able to put your oil back in. I'm sorry, y'all. I left you over here in the heat I had to go get me a bottle of water. I am dripping. Make sure y'all drinking plenty of water and staying hydrated out in this heat. Sorry I didn't bring y'all one. Oh, that's good. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and start adding the oil up here. I can't remember exactly how much it holds, so we'll just check it on the dipstick. Alright, it's right there. And it needs to go to right there. We'll add, looks like it's just going to take the whole quart. I mean the whole gallon, excuse me. You'd rather have a little bit too little oil than too much oil. Too much oil is actually worse than having a little less. All right, let me go grab another bottle. That'll have a second to get down and through the motor. Now you got to take into account that you're filling your oil filter up too, so it's going to take a little bit and you might have to top it back off. Alright, that's almost perfect. Alright, let that sit there for a second. Then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and go over this tractor and grease all the zerk fittings and go ahead and just do a good full service on it. Make sure everything's topped off, make sure everything's good. Alright, see that? That's perfect. Y'all see that little pinhole right there at the tip of my thumb? There's a little hole there and a little hole there. It's perfect. So, what we're going to do now is pull this out. Put it right here. Go ahead and throw that cap back on. And I'm going to go start the tractor up, let it run for a minute, and then cut it back off and check the oil again. Go ahead and let that filter get to make sure it's full. Alright, that should be enough. Let's just let everything settle down for a second. And I want to see if I think I have a new fuel filter. So might as well, while we're doing this service, go ahead and change the fuel filter too. This is a brand new fuel filter cartridge that will go in this right here. I try to keep things in. You never know when something might happen. You might get some bad fuel or something like that. And it's nice, instead of having to wait on a equipment shop or a part shop to open up, you just have this stuff in stock and you can go ahead and get back on your way. So we're going to lose a little bit of fuel here. Let that drain out. There it goes. So y'all, that one is pretty grungy. It's pretty nasty. And as you can see, hang on a sec, let me dump that. Y'all see that? That's just some trash. So let me clean this up before we put that new fuel filter in. All right, that cleaned up really good. Got that nice and clean. Put the new fuel filter in. While y'all was off, I looked, and I did not see a new O-ring in there. So I guess they're expecting you to reuse the old O-ring. Not exactly certain on that, but it did not come with a new O-ring. Alright, so I like that system. I don't know if y'all caught that or not. On this system that Kubota's using for their fuel, they actually have a spring-loaded diaphragm in there that when you screw that filter housing back on, it automatically fills your bulb and everything back up. That's really nice. Most equipment comes with a primer bulb where you actually have to sit there and leave the filter a little bit cracked, and you have to sit there and pump it. Or some of them you can tighten the filter all the way up. You have to sit there and pump it and break a line loose somewhere else, like on an injector or something like that, to allow the fuel to be able to go down into the filter, fill it up, and then get any air out of your system. That is really nice. Let's go ahead and get back over here and check the oil and see what we got. All right, if y'all look, there's that hole I was telling y'all about. And now here's the oil down here. Before it was right there. So it took that little bit out of it to go into the filter and fill the filter up. So honestly, that's completely okay where it is. But as hot as it is down here, I am going to just put a little bit more oil in it just to bring it on up. But you never want to overfill it. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do before we get the greasing on the tractor, just like the mower, the zero-turn mower, I'm going to take the air filter off and blow it out. And I do see a little bit of corrosion. I don't know if y'all can see it here. Just a slight little amount of corrosion right there on the battery terminal on the positive side. So I'm going to spray a little bit of stuff on there to keep that and get that away. And that'll be it. Aside from the greasing, we're pretty done. Let's go ahead and spray that on there. And I use that right there. You buy it at Napa or any good parts store. It didn't give it any trouble. It's just a very small amount of corrosion on it, or I'd take it off and clean it. But this stuff will dissolve the corrosion and get rid of it. So see how that goes. Let's check the oil. That's something that's very important. See where it's at after we finish topping it off. It is absolutely perfect. Right on the dot. Of course, we'll check it here and there periodically as we use it. So let's get that plug back in there. Make sure that fuel filter's tight. It's good and tight. Pull the oil pan out from up under there. And what I'm going to use is those jugs. One jug it only had like a quart in it. And the other gallon jug, I used a whole gallon. So 6 quarts of oil to go back into the tractor. So what I'll do is take the used motor oil, take the funnel and pour it into those jugs, and then take it to the recycling place. Put the side cover back on. All right, that's done. Let's get on to that air filter. Start on the inside and work your way out. I think I got a new air filter, y'all. That was pretty bad. All right, we are good to go. I have a brand new air filter. I'll just have to pick a nut up and keep it back in stock. All right, that's on. Let's go ahead and blow the radiator out, transmission, cooler, and all of that. Make sure that's all good. There's a screen right here that you can slide out, but you have to have the loader up in there to get it out because it hits the arm. That little screen that I was showing y'all on the radiator, that is for if you're working, it catches leaves and stuff like that and debris, especially anybody that runs a tractor out in fields and you're running through high grass, broom sage, anything like that, they can be the death of a tractor. I've actually been at work and running the tractors and have to clean that like every 30 minutes. It'll stop up full of broom sage seeds and the little blooms on the top. So you got to keep up with that little screen. And like I said, you can't get it all the way out with the front end loader down. You have to raise the front end loader up in the air. And we're up under a shed and I can't raise it up right now. All right, I'm not going to bore y'all with the entire greasing of this tractor. It's probably going to take like 25 minutes to sit here and go over everything from. But what you want to be checking on, your grease fittings on your steering, all your grease fittings on your bucket and your hydraulic cylinders, your 3-point hitch, even the brakes and the clutch and stuff like that have, well, it's hydrostatic, but it still has a clutch you mash in to be able to crank it and stuff. It's even got a zerk fitting on it. So you want to make sure you're going over all of those and just greasing everything. Y'all saw me blowing. I blow everything out. Blow the alternator out, blow the radiator out, the oil cooler, the hydrostatic cooler, everything. You want to keep up with everything. You sure don't want your tractor running hot. I don't have an electric grease gun. I'd like to get one day. I just used old cartridge type, pump type. And you just want to make sure those grease fittings, these are clean. You just want to pump it. And you can see the grease start coming out right there. And you just go from grease fitting to grease fitting. And if there's any contamination in it, like dirt or anything like that, you want to take a screwdriver or something, a flathead screwdriver, and clean that out. You do not want to push sand and grit up into your grease fittings and stuff like that. That is called premature wear. All right, everyone. That's it. The less than glamorous side of tractor maintenance and the least fun part of homesteading maintenance. So today we went over, we changed our oil, we changed our oil filter, we changed our fuel filter, we greased our tractor, we blew our radiator and hydrostatic cooler off, we checked our antifreeze, it's topped off, we put some battery protectant on the battery terminal, and completely greased our equipment. So that's pretty much it. Y'all saw me in a couple of videos back where I went over the tractor and changed the hydraulic fluid, changed the actual hydraulic filter, and on the other side the hydrostatic filter. So that's all it is to it. When you add it all up, it's a little small fortune, but it keeps your equipment. To replace the equipment is a lot more expensive than a tube of grease that costs about $6 and a couple of $12 filters. So having your tractor be reliable and being there when you need it and not broken down is a good sound peace of mind. And it took me all together, I've been over here probably, if you added it all up, about an hour and a half, 2 hours, somewhere around there. I had to cut y'all off. The phone died, the original phone I had and stuff like that. And I went over and started doing other things while I was waiting on it to charge up. So we got everything done. The only thing that still needs to be done is the oil changed in my truck. And that's not a big deal. It's not quite due yet. I just like to go ahead and do it while I have extra time. And I might still get to it tomorrow or something like that. But we had our well pump go out, and that put a big damper on things. It's having to work twice as hard, toting water from the pond, stretching water hoses all over the place, and trying to get our animals watered and taken care of and stuff like that. Our laundry was piling up, because y'all can see the clothes that I'm in today are wringing wet with sweat, greasy. I'm nasty, and I would have not wanted to have to do this and not be able to go take a nice cool shower and wash with a bar of soap. So that would have been just miserable. So we got everything done that we wanted to do, minus the oil change in the truck. So I'm very happy. I can continue on doing the things we want to do. She's still washing laundry and stuff like that, and still cleaning in the house and working on videos for you guys. So is what it is. Thank y'all for coming along with me today. I hope I didn't bore y'all any doing this long, drug out oil changing procedure and filter changing procedure, but it needed to be done, and most of y'all probably already know everything about it, but then there are a select few that might not know about it. So I'm trying to help them and show them that they can do things on their own and not have to just rely on somebody else to do everything for them. So just wanted to teach the select few that might not know. Y'all have a great night. God bless. And y'all come back and see us soon. All right, everything's good, runs good. We're done here, y'all.